Welcome back. Now what we need to do is that we need to convert the script into a software, meaning that we want to create a user interface where the user will be able to send SMS from a user interface. Because here, as you can see, in order to send an SMS, you need to run the script using the terminal. There is no other way. You need to use the terminal, and also you will need to change the receiver or recipient phone number from the script, and we don't want that. And instead, we want to create a user-friendly user interface. So we need to follow a few steps. The first step is that we need to rename this file. So instead of index.php, I'm going to rename this file. I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to click on rename, and then I'm going to name it something else. I'm going to name it sms.php. sms.php. And then we need to create a new file, and that file is going to be index.html. This HTML file will contain the user interface. So here in the index.html, if you are using Visual Studio Code, all you need to do is that you need to type exclamation mark and then hit enter, and this is going to add the basic skeleton of the HTML code. Now we need to create the user interface. So what I'm going to do is that here, what I am going to do is that I'm going to start by creating the user interface. So the user interface will contain a inputs that will allow the user to type the phone number, the sender phone number and receiver phone number, and the message, and send the message through that user interface. So here in the body, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to first create here a div. I'm going to say here div, and then for this div I'm going to display a h2 title. I'm going to say SMS sending software, whatever you want to display here. And then I'm going to display here, I'm going to create here the form. So I'm going to create a div, and inside that div I'm going to create the form. I'm going to say here form, and inside that form first we need to create a div, and inside that div we want a label for the first element, label. So the first thing that we want to let the user type is the phone number, the user phone number. So I'm going to say your phone number. But the phone number is actually will actually be only one phone number, which is your phone number. So there is no point of typing this phone number. So for now, I'm not gonna do that. Later we can do that. I'm gonna say here instead. I'm gonna say recipient phone number, and then after that, I'm gonna create an input. I'm gonna say input, and that input is going to have a type, and that type is gonna be number. And I'm gonna give it a name, and the name is gonna be 2 because this is gonna be the number to somebody. And I'm gonna say here placeholder type recipient phone number, phone number. So this is for the first input. The second input that we need is the message. So for the message, I'm gonna say here div, and then inside that div I'm gonna say text area, and then I'm gonna give this text area rows and columns. I'm gonna say rows. So the rows are gonna be 5, and the columns are gonna be 40. And then I'm gonna give it a name. So the name is going to be message. So the name is gonna be message. And then I'm gonna also say placeholder. So the placeholder is just going to say type your message. Finally, we need to display a button. So here I'm gonna say div, and then inside that div we want to display a button. I'm gonna say input, and then here type, and the type is gonna be submit. And the value is gonna be equal to send SMS. Send SMS. Let me now save and let me run this. But the question is, how can we run this in the browser? To run this in the browser, we need to open the terminal, view and then terminal, and then in the terminal we need to type PHP and then minus and then capital S and then local host and then colon and then the port. So the port can be anything you want, can be any 4 digits, but usually we use 8000. So again, that's PHP minus capital S and then localhost and then colon 8000 and then hit enter, and this is gonna run the server. So you need to copy this, URL localhost colon 8000, and then you need to head on over to the browser and paste that URL. So if you paste that URL in the browser, as you can see, now we have this user interface, which has this title, and then we have this input, and then we have this input for the message, and we have this button.